Hey everybody, it's Mark Yegge. Welcome to another weekly stock market update. Today is February 9th. I hope you're having a great week. The markets sure are. I'm staying on this little I got a fake background here today, but I'm staying on this little farmhouse here in New Zealand, and it's so cute. They got like thousands of acres, and they got dairy cows, and they milk them a couple times a day, and they got goats and sheep and lambs and stuff running around everywhere. It's just really cool. So, with that being said, though, I'm going to keep this quick because my internet signal keeps going in and out. But let's get right to it. Hang on a second. There it is. All right, let's go back to the beginning. Just got off my mastermind call, and we are all having phenomenal weeks. Well, I'm not having that great a week, but everybody else is having just awesome weeks, which just makes me really happy. And and so we got four green lights. You can see the green lights. This has been a long run in the market, and sometimes these markets keep melting up. I told you that we probably will have a melt up because of the Fed, and that's certainly been the case. We went green January 9th of last year, which is when I mentioned the bull market was coming, and it certainly has not let up so much. So we've got a short-term primary trend in place since I think it's November 6th, and it's been green most of the days except for maybe 3 days in there ever since then. So if you're not using any market timing on your system and you're afraid that the market's at an all-time high, when was it at an all-time high that didn't have an all-time high higher, right? And so we're not Nostradamus. We have to use some kind of market timing to kind of decide when, on an unemotional level, we should be getting in and out. And if you're not using market timing, you're using emotion, and emotion is not a good way to use to do anything in the market. So just keep that in mind. All right, let's go through our indexes here. NASDAQ Composite, all-time high, just going crazy. And you're going to see, I'll go through a couple stocks in just a second. It's going crazy because some of the great stocks are going, at all-time highs. Amazing. S&P 500 index is just churning away. It hit an all-time high of 5,000, and it's got a little gap up 3 days ago, and it's doing really well following through on that. The Dow Jones Industrial Average, same kind of thing. It's near an all-time high. It's not at one today, but it's just pennies off of it, dollars off of it. So that index is doing incredibly well. So the Dow is melting up. Why are all these indexes and why are these stocks melting up? Well, there's only one answer, and it's the Fed. So the Fed is printing money, but it's not really the Fed. They're hiding it. And so it's the Treasury that's putting out a bunch of T-bills. And, there's a whole saga going on behind the scenes that you and I don't really know much about. And when that happens, there's just market being poured in. And the institutional guys that all know about all this stuff are like, well, we got all this extra money because the Fed and the Treasury are printing it to give support to the markets. Hey, let's put it in the stock market. So you're seeing Bitcoin melt up. You're seeing some of these stocks are crazy. Some of the stocks, like I put out a video in early January that said, "Hey, here are my predictions." And I hate making predictions, but I'm just a probabilities guy. And I said, "Here are the probabilities for the stocks that are going higher." One of them was SMCI, and I'm going to show you the chart on it in a second, just really quickly. But SMCI's doubled this year. So, like, I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying when you play the probabilities and you get them in your favor, things happen. And we've got a lot of the stars aligned. We've got the Fed or the Treasury aligned. We've got the stocks are moving higher. Well, the economy, everybody says it's going to go to zero. And when everybody says something, I like to go the other way. So we're seeing these melt-ups. New York Stock Exchange at right near an all-time high as well. Volatility is at, pretty close to, at least midterm lows. And volatility is showing us that there's less volatility and more money coming into the market. Look at Apple. Apple's just languishing, not doing anything right now, but I suspect Apple is coiling a spring. It gets over this 50-day moving average. It moves up to that 196.50 level. The stock, to me, looks like it wants to break out. So right now it's consolidating. It's got relative strength because all the money's going into SMCI and NVIDIA and some of these other great companies. And it's coming out of Apple probably. But Apple will have its day. And this always happens. Like the NASDAQ moved down a lot last year, and all of a sudden it sprang back up like it's doing right now. Apple's going to do the same thing. So is Tesla. Tesla has not been fun. It's been a really lousy ride. I'm in the Tesla from 265 down to the 190 level. It hit 180 last week or this week. It's not fun when it goes down. We are making cash on the way down because we sell calls. We do covered calls in the cash flow machine, and that helps. But if you're making $3 a week in juice and the stock goes down $6 a week, is still your account's still down $3, even though you're getting $3 in additional money. Eventually, that money catches up, but while it makes these runs on the way down, it's a little tougher. Just being transparent here. NVIDIA, though, look at the opposite side of this. This beauty is at 98 relative strength. It's got a check mark breakout where it broke out from, if you were in my mastermind group, I was talking about NVIDIA going up to 505 and breaking out at 505. And I kept saying, I don't know why it's not breaking out. And then all of a sudden it did. And when it does, these things, like, you can't keep up with them. Look at this thing. It's at 716 from a 505 breakout. That's a 200-point breakout on this stock. Does it stop? I don't know. Is the AI stopping? Are people buying fewer chips? I don't know. I'm not saying I would buy it here. I'm saying that, when stocks break out, that's the right spot on the chart. That's what we look for, and we train people to look for. And, one of our guys in our mastermind group bought a super microcomputer here, which is, to me, that's the funniest name for a company. Super microcomputer. It's like a Saturday morning cartoon. Buy super microcomputer. Anyway, so this one had a 357 breakout. Look at where it is. It's a 734. It's a double, right? This thing doubled in 3 weeks, right? And I can't say to buy it now. I was saying buying it at 357. That's when I said it in January 4th or 5th, whenever I put out my list. And if you had done that, great. But if you've done that and you're selling calls like some of the people in our group, then you're making money too. And look at the volume on this stock. And I'll leave it here because the volume on this stock says at the bottom, see those big blue candles, that the personality of the stock has changed. This is now an institutional quality stock. If you look at the left side, look at the tiny volume bars, and then you go all the way to the right, and you've got all these blue bars of buying, and that's institutions coming in. So this has now become an institutional quality stock. It's probably a super stock. It has all the elements of being a super stock. That's one of the reasons that I believed in it as my 2024 pick. And every once in a while you get them right. But it sure does help that the market's melting up, and it sure does help that the Fed is doing what it's doing with the Treasury, and it sure does help that these stocks are, in good sectors, and there's AI, and that's what the market's all about. It's trying to get those probabilities on your side. So I will leave it there because I'm losing bandwidth on and off. I hope you're still seeing this. But thanks again for being here. I hope you clear out some time for yourself for this weekend and make some connection with yourself and the people around you, because that's what's important. And we'll get back to it next week on Monday. And hope you have a super weekend and a super week next week. See you on the next weekly stock market update. Take care.